All right, so now we got our side panels and all that. Is all of our stuff nice. Everything's labeled. Next up, what do we got? What do we got? These latches. So you got this piece and this piece. I looked at these Yakattack boxes at iCast. I absolutely loved them. I was kind of waiting to see when they got those new colors in. They had some cool beach colors. Unfortunately, I just didn't want to wait any longer. I don't know when those are coming out. And they had black and orange. That's all they had left. I was kind of waiting out a little bit to see, hopefully, if maybe they had some other colors that came out. But then I started thinking, I said, you know what, the orange actually isn't that bad, especially you know, I thought maybe the black would just be absorbing heat all day in the Florida sun, but the orange, you know, it's kind of back there. I feel like it's a good high visibility orange, you know, and at least it'll give something on my kayak by my flag. It makes me a little bit more noticeable. I mean, it's not like a super bright orange, but yeah, I like it. I mean, worst case, you could always paint it or whatever, but I think I actually won't mind the orange. But yeah, it's not like super bright, and that'll look good on the gray. So, you know, it'll make me a little bit more visible too, so I kind of like that. Made in the USA, baby. All right, so it comes with six rod holders. I'm not sure if we're gonna want to set those up straight or slightly angled. I'm not sure. We're gonna mess around with that, but let's get into it and see what we all have in here. All right, so first things first is you got your top piece there. You've got six rod holders, and these, what's nice is they do have a little bungee latch where you can kind of bungee your rod to it like a lanyard, like, so you don't lose it if you flip. So that's kind of nice. Let's put these down here. What else? So yeah, like I said, you have to assemble everything. So that's the thing. Comes with a nice little direction here. I got the 16 by 16. It's a nice big one. Fits perfectly behind on my Hobie Outback. I have the 2022 Hobie Outback. All right, so now we got our side panels and all that kind of stuff. Yep, there's all the side panels there. And then here's the bottom piece. Bottom piece is black. This is all of our stuff nice. Everything's labeled. Here's the bungees, but everything's labeled to go with the directions. So this should be a real simple, real easy. Don't do what I usually do, like I almost did there, and throw away the directions. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could probably figure this out. It does not look hard at all, you know. We could probably put this together in 30 minutes or under. Yeah. All right, guys, let's get this put together. All right, next step, we got all this on. Got ourselves a box. All right, next up, we are putting on the little rubber pads for the bottom. You do not want to over tight these, just nice and tight, just snug, do not over tighten them. All comes in the same bag here. Got your screws and a washer, and we'll put these on here. Flip your box over upside down. These should fit right there like that, I'm guessing. Yep, like that. Just like that. And then what you'll do is you'll take one of these like that. Bada boom, bada bang. And then we'll screw these on here. Let's get the other ones set up here. See, it kind of fits perfectly right there. Remember, just nice and snug, not over tight. There we go, nice and snug. Perfect. All right, got all of our nice and snug, not over tight. All right, next up, what do we got? What do we got? Oh, it's so windy. All right, now we're gonna put in rubber bumpers on the lid. So when you're closing it, it's not gonna slam shut. So let's do that. How do we got? Let's see here. Doesn't show any screws in this yet. Where do they want us to put that? Oh, right here. See these little nubbies? There and right there. In the middle of each row. We're gonna put these, I'm guessing, yeah, it's got an angle there. That goes in the angle. Okay, it just sits right in there. Okay, you don't need a screw or anything, it just sits. So see how this is angled out? See how this is angled out? Just gonna plop that right there. Perfect. Put the other ones in and we're good. All right, got them all in. All right, next step is the hinges for the lid. 2 hinges, looks like a total of 6 screws, and then the big bolt here at the hingey part. So let's put these on. All right, small problem here. So as you can see here, it shows this going in to the hinges here, but it shows like a nut for the end of that bolt. I do not have, I mean, I'm looking in all my bags. I have no, it didn't come in the bag that it was supposed to come in. I'm not seeing any nut. There's no, see, I have these, but I don't have a screw at the end to lock these in place unless they're like already in here. See, there's a spot for the nut to sit in, but they did not give any, there's no nuts. There's no nuts. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to go digging through a tin can in the garage, see if maybe I have one that'll fit that on standby, but yeah, I don't have, it's missing this piece right here. Yeah, nylon lock nut 2, hardware pack C. Hardware pack C. It's just not in here. Unless they got it stuck in here somehow. No, you just don't have it. All right, well, we're gonna have to figure that out, guys. All right, thank God for junk drawers, but I found myself some hex nuts here. So that should work. Now the way you want to set this up, it's kind of like that. You gotta think, and I'll always hold it up on here to make sure, you know, you're setting it up right, but got it like that. You want all those flat surfaces like that, you're gonna pop this in here, like so. Run that bolt in here. There we go. I'm gonna put this hex in here. And then we should be able to just tighten her down. Yeah, there we go. It's working. Not too tight, but just tight enough to where she still, you know, opens and closes. Oh, we did that one wrong. Yeah, see? Did that wrong. That's gotta be flipped. Whoopsie. Like that. Yeah, there we go. Oops, wrong way again. You want all the flat surfaces inside. Duh. I did the first one right, but you know, when you're on camera, you're like second guessing everything. All right, there we go. Let's put that in, tighten her up. Right, there we go. That's the one. Maybe loosen it just a teeny bit. All right, cool. Let's get the other one in. Yeah, so we got these set up. Let's put these on the lid now. The bigger piece is gonna go up here. It's gonna line up just right there. It already has some holes lined up. And let's just make sure this is gonna line up too. Yeah, it'll line up. Let's just see how that works. I'm not going to tighten these all the way down just because I want to make sure everything lines up just right before we really crank her down. That's why they recommend you hand do all this, because if you over tighten it, you can strip the plastic and it's toast. You don't want to over tighten anything. All right, got these in. Opens and closes just fine. Now we're gonna add on the front little latches here so you can lock it in place, lock it down. So let's add these on. Let's turn this around. See how this is gonna go here. See here, how do they want us to do it? Looks like it's, yeah, they're angled it down like that. So it's gonna go like that. And it's gonna make a nice little lip there, like that. So we're gonna add these on here next. All right, next step for these latches. So you got this piece and this piece. Kind of slide that in there a little bit. As you can see, these pieces here, kind of pop it in there like that. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna put this in there like that, and that's gonna create a little latch. So we're gonna take our little screws, and it already has, just like the top one's got the 3-hole. Like that. All right, we got these on here. Nice. All right, what's next? All right, looks like the side tie downs. These are going to be so you can tie it down to your kayak. These pieces right here, we're probably going to be adding these on the sides here like that. I don't know if we're going to go that way or this way. We'll have to look. All right, let's figure that out. Here on all 4 corners. Looks like, yeah, just one down from the top. This little hook angled piece there, You want that at the top. You want it, the whole thing kind of angle it down like that. So you're gonna go like that. All right, see that? Oops, I'm in the way of it here. All right, now we're gonna put on the handles. Obviously you want the handle part down. All right, grab these bungees, tie an overhand knot. You want it as close to the end as possible with very little tag end. And then you're gonna run it through these little clips here. And this is gonna stop. Okay, let's try it. All right, what do we got? It's a little windy. All right, so what it wants us to do is before we run it through this, it wants us to tie as you see here, we need to tie a little overhand knot as close as we can to the end here, so that way it doesn't come back out. Let's see, simple enough. Little overhand knot there. As close as you can to the end as possible. I could probably go a little shorter than that. It's stretchy, so you definitely want to make sure it's stretching good. Get it real tight. I guess we can always cut that off, but there we go. It won't come out. We'll probably cut and burn this tips off, make it look real nice afterwards, but let's do that to the rest of these. And then the other side of it goes into part that goes to what looks like the rod holders. Let's figure that out. Main thing too, here. There's a side opening and kind of like an opening that goes to the bottom. You want to run it through the one that's open on the bottom and out the side piece. At least that's how it depicts it in the pictures. All right, got all these done. About as short as I get it. Once you tighten it and stretch it, it kind of stretches out a little bit. Like I said, we might cut these and burn these off, make it nice and neat. But now what it wants us to do is tie another overhand knot on the end of all these. Similar to this, it shows it on both. Tie another overhand knot on that, and then we'll figure out what this is talking about. That's what we're talking about. So go in through the one that's open on the bottom there, come out the side, overhand knot to keep it in place, and then on the other end tie another overhand knot. All right guys, so the next step on these are, let me show you how I did this. All right, so remember we tied these together. You're gonna run it through this hole here, the very top hole. You're gonna run that little knot. You can pull it through. And what you wanna do is pull it nice and tight, kind of seat it in here so you can kind of see what you're working with. Run it in between here, down along the side here, underneath here, back up, and then there is a little notch here. You wanna pull that up, pull that in there. See how it sits right in there. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take these little nubbies here, and they have a little hook right there, and you're gonna place that right there on that plastic. Use a small little screw here, and then we're gonna put that in there like that, and that's gonna hold that bungee. Let me just put it in here and show you guys real quick. So now that's all there. So now when you have your rod, you can latch your rod. It won't go nowhere. This is all bungeed in. Sits in nice and perfect. Boom. And then what we're gonna do is screw these on. I just don't know how we're gonna wanna do this yet. You know, we can go forward, angled, not too sure, but we'll do that here in a little bit. All right, so hey guys, so I'm thinking about doing this. So I bought this double stack. I bought these as a double stack, and then I had a little attachment to attach this on some of my rails on my kayak. But this actually use these because I think I can attach these to the top of my crate. and then even have one where I can take it off. And the one I can take off, I'm thinking about turning this one into a first aid and then painting this one black to kind of match the rest of the crate. So we've got our paints. We're gonna paint these up and then attach them on. So yeah, we'll see how this looks. Stay tuned. It's good enough for me. Like I said, it's not no perfect. I mean, I guess later on, if I really want to and it's not so windy, we can really do it right and put some masking tape on there. But I think that's going to actually be pretty good. Yeah, I like it. Now let's work on this black one here. This black one's looking pretty good already, guys. As you can see here, the black one doesn't look like I missed too much. We just need to hit the bottom. We had a little overspray there from the other one. Damn wind, yeah. So we do just need to hit up the bottom and then this side. And yeah, that'll do it on this one. All right, what I did was, first you want to place these up here, see kind of where you're going to want it at. Once I figured out where I wanted it at, I lined up these holes with some holes here, because you're going to want the screw to go into these plastic pieces here. We picked up some more screws, so we already know where it is. I'm going to put 4 in on each side. That's what we're going to do. And so I picked up some more screws, and what I'm doing is, where these little holes are already pre-made, it's pretty thin plastic, so you can just start it. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of getting it started, and then I'll line it up and sink it in all the way. All right, so as you see there, we've got our 4 already kind of just barely popping through here. Now we're gonna line these up to where we can get them in this hole here. It's about right. There we go. You don't want to, if you're feeling a lot of resistance, you probably missed it and you probably need to recheck things. Should go nice and easy into the plastic. Like I said, you don't want to use a hand, I mean, you can use a hand screw or screw gun, but you really risk over tightening. And if you over tighten when you're going into this plastic, you will strip it. And then you'll have to use a different hole or a larger screw or something like that, which I don't recommend going larger screw. That might, you know, they've got this thing made to fit these type of screws just perfectly. Anything bigger might tear up the plastic, I'm thinking. So you can always, I bet you can buy new plates if you really mess up, but there's a lot of options to place holes in different areas. See that? Okay, it did pop through a little bit. Maybe we could have gone a little shorter. And I might take some dikes or a little hacksaw and take off those little pieces there. I doubt we'll have an issue with this one because this one has the plate, which is going to give it a little bit of extra. Probably should have went with slightly shorter screws with this one. Yeah, probably should have. Well, we'll cut those down. Let's see if I have any shorter screws. Yeah, I do. I got 2. So we'll put 2 shorter ones on the back and we'll just cut those smaller ones. I don't want to pull it back out and So yeah, keep in mind, if you're not putting this on without the mount, you definitely want to go a little bit shorter on the screws. Let's get this in there. There we go. Nice and easy. Nice. It's on there pretty good. Yeah, see, those shorter screws didn't pop through, so we're just gonna probably get a hacksaw here and just cut off the tips of these, just so, because obviously you see the other ones didn't pop through, so I made a mistake there, my bad. But we'll file these off, we'll be good to go. But as you can see here, looks nice. And then we're gonna add this one on right back here. And the reason why I did this one with the latch is because if I ever need the first aid kit, I can pull it off and just take it with, and this will be the mount for this. That ways I could take this off, hand it to somebody if they need first aid. So that was kind of my thinking. Yeah, it looks good, I like it. All right, let's get this installed. This one's already got 4 holes here. We're basically just gonna line these up where we want it. All right, so that's her all done. Now what I did is I took these they come with these little hooks for this part. I took a ball bungee here, ran it through like that. And what I'm doing is I'm running it through here, back through the loop there, creating like a nice little knot. And then what I can do is, see, just a little over. Now ways I can do that on each one, and this thing is locked in. And then I could just unlatch these, but we got that all set up. I like it. All right guys, so I wanted to show you guys this before I pack it up. This is my yak crate, my Yakattack box here, all done 16 by 16. You've got the rod holders on here. These sit nice and easy in here. You got your latches. Open that up. I've got the mesh bag here to use for like my go-to stuff. Plenty of space, 16 by 16. Just close that down, let's lock her in. I added a box, painted it up. That's my go-to, like backup lures, DOA, popping corks, things like that. I've got my first aid kit in here with a radio, first aid, and it's this one you can disconnect. If I can use, I don't have 2 hands, so you can disconnect it, and I can hand it if someone needs first aid or something like that. Clips in easy. I use these little ball bungees. Just wrapped it around right there. They clip in nice and easy. She's in there nice and good. I did add this on the back, just a nice little mesh. I put my bait bucket or a jacket or something like that, or my Crocs back here. And then I did add this right here for my pliers, and it doesn't affect the lid at all. Let me show you. So everything closes down, locks in. I mean, she looks good. What do you guys think? Yeah, I'm liking it.